Hello everyone, we are live yet again. This is actually going to be my second author's chat of the week. I know it always takes a minute or so for the notifications that I'm live to go out, and I'll keep my eye out during this time for her to invite her in. But yeah, how's everybody's week going? Yesterday was such a hectic day from start to finish. I was mentioning on yesterday's live that in the morning I had actually completed the first draft of my 14th novella of my Dark Viking fantasy series, The Guardian Speaker, which was fantastic. So I have two more to go, and I'm actually in the middle of doing a read through, so reading it start to finish to make sure everything's syncing up correctly and just flowing very well between all the chapters, because it takes me a little bit of time to write the drafts and just making sure that I didn't miss anything or forget to add something or mess up the description of any of the new characters that are popping in, which right now, because it's based off Norse mythology, we're finally getting to some of the bigger, heavier hitters of Nordic myth. So, case in point, I was actually getting to write and describe what Loki actually looked like from Norse myth versus what everybody thinks about him in Marvel. So very, very different, but it's been kind of fun getting into some of that, and that's been keeping me busy. But as I said, keeping my eye out for my co-host of the day, see if she chimes in a few minutes. But yeah, so that was a great start of the week for me, and what it means for the rest of the week, I'll be actually balancing between prepping one of my books to go to my betas, because I'm always cycling where I am with my various projects. So I have one getting ready to go to the betas, another gearing up to go to my editor as soon as she's done with the project she's currently on, and keep things rolling that way. I'm also going to start working on the 15th. And yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm glad we get to do this again, and I'm sorry, my setup is a little wonky. It actually, thankfully, did not look that bad. A few hours ago, I recently adopted an Irish Wolfhound, big dog, and just took out my whole ring light system by accident, and so I had to it's a mess. If you saw it flipped around, it looks really wild because they have things hanging just for lighting.
Oh no.
But I made it work. I made it work.
Well, congratulations on your new puppy.
Whoop, you're very quiet. I don't know if I.
Okay. Is that better?
Yes, I can hear you a little better.
Okay.
Got really quiet there, and I was just like, I can see you speaking.
Yeah.
So I guess what we'll start off with, kind of like we did last time we chatted, I'll just let you reintroduce yourself and talk about all your new and current projects you are writing at the moment.
Okay. And let me know if the sound is okay. Is it okay right now?
Yeah, it's still a little quiet. It's kind of coming in and out, and I don't know why.
Okay. Um, Let me fiddle with it just a second, actually, before
No
I
worries,
start.
no worries.
Back.
For everybody who's chiming in, we're about to talk about all things books. So if you like reading, if you like writing, or interested in anything in between of those kind of topics, come on and hang out. That's what we'll be hanging out for a little while and talking about all things books. Because welcome to Book Talk. But yeah, no, I mean, it's always interesting talking to various authors, indie and traditional published and everything between, because I'm always learning new things. And for instance, yesterday I was talking to a different author last night and didn't realize there's a program called Draft to Digital, and didn't realize they allowed you to publish ebooks on a Y distribution, which was very interesting to me, because that's something I'm potentially looking into. But yeah, I can say hello once more. Let's see. Testing 1, 2. How does it sound?
Yeah, how does it sound? Does it sound good?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Yep, this fixed it. Okay. So yeah, my name is Dee Dee Carlson. I am a young adult clean Christian fantasy author. And my first, my novella, which is not technically my debut novel, but my novella that is a reader magnet for my newsletter, is coming out in a week. It is Cassandra's Dragon.
Ooh.
And in case the title didn't clue you in, there's lots of dragons.
I love dragons.
Dragons are the best. And then my debut novel, the official full-length first novel in the Empire of Ash and Song series, is coming out October 17th.
Wow, you have back-to-back releases. I'm impressed.
I know. Bad idea, but it's okay.
I feel like I'm the queen of always like scrambling to catch up with the publications that I'm trying to do. And but no, that's really cool. And for anybody who doesn't know the term reader's magnet, it's essentially a freebie, be it a full length or novella or short stories, that you get as a thank you for signing up for something like a newsletter.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's cool. So, you said it's a prequel novella about, of course, dragons. And how does it tie in? Like, how prequel is this? Is this like right before your series starts, or is this like hundreds of years? I mean, I've
So,
prior.
a lot of the events in the novella are taking place simultaneously to the main storyline in book one. So it's from a side character's perspective. So you'll see this side character in book one, but it's her backstory and where she came from and how she ended up in a very bad situation in book one. So
Oh,
yeah.
and what inspired you to write this particular prequel?
Well, several things. First of all, Cassandra is my favorite character in book one, even though she's only a side character, because she's basically me. She's
Hmm.
basically she thinks she's invincible and she thinks she can do anything. And if she sees an injustice, she just fixes it because just fix it, like
Oh yeah.
she runs the world. And then she finds out, oh, I guess I don't run the world in book one. And it's kind of I don't want to give away too many secrets, but it's kind of mind blowing, actually, if I may say so myself.
Yeah. So you're gonna see her before her confidence is pulled out from underneath her.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I always like characters who are the well-meaning ones, and it's okay to have a character that may be overtly confident in themselves, as long as they get checked periodically to be like, you're cool and all, but maybe not as great as you think.
Exactly, exactly. And life does that to me all the time. So it was easy to write about it happening to Cassandra.
Right. I mean, that's why what is the thing everybody tells us? Write what you know. So it's kind of like you pull some obscure, maybe not as obscure personal experiences and you repurpose them in writing fiction, in this case, fantasy
Exactly,
with dragons.
exactly. Yes, with dragons. Oh, I have to show you. I have to show you what my friend made me.
Oh, yeah.
It's a baby
Ooh.
dragon. Isn't
Oh,
it
that's
pretty?
so cute. Maybe.
She makes, oh, what are they called? Not ceramics. Where you pour the stuff into the mold and then it hardens and you can
Oh,
put
okay,
little
okay, okay,
charms in
okay,
it.
okay. It's eluding me, but yeah, yeah.
But it's
That's
so
neat.
cute. And she's only 11, but she made this for me when she found out I was writing about dragons.
Holy moly. That's so cute.
I love it.
Fantastic. And then you were saying that you have a full length coming out in October. So
Yep.
that is, I mean, it doesn't sound like it's close, but it's close. So where are you? Is it like already? Are you still in the final editing stages, or where are
It's
you in
it's
that process?
mostly it's mostly ready. I actually am just finalizing printing and stuff for it. So this
Ooh,
is
I
the book.
love that.
And as you can see, it is thick. It is not
Yeah.
a short book.
Oh yeah.
But yep, so it's almost completely ready. I'm having some problems with Ingram Spark and the printing, so we're trying to work through that. And I'm also trying to figure out a way so that there can be a pre-order for the
Mm-hmm.
paperback, which Amazon doesn't allow, and so I'm mostly
I
publishing
know.
through Amazon, but I'm also having my hardcover with Ingram Spark. And so I decided that I'm going to use a backdoor method to kind of get a paperback pre-order on Amazon, and I'm still working on it. It's not it's not easy, but I'm trying because people are very excited and want to pre-order, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to give that to them. So
Yeah, no, that is one thing. Like, I think you're the second or third person I've talked to that has found ways, or at least are trying different ways, because it is unfortunate at the moment for books going through Zahn's publication, printer company, that they don't allow physical pre-orders, which kind of shocks me for a company who's all about trying to make the sale, that they won't allow that at this time. But I have, and that's one of the things I've been talking about a lot recently is because I do want to take my print books wide, and now that I'm moving away from KU, I'm trying to decide, to take the ebooks wide and how that will change going forward with things like publications. Will I be able to take advantage of physical pre-orders, which I've never been able to do before? But you have to let me know. You have to let me know because I've yet to dabble with something like Ingram Sparks, and so it's very intimidating because everybody tells me it's not easy to use that platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So far, yeah. Well, Amazon is so user friendly. Like
Yes.
it's so easy. You can get a book up on there in like 5 minutes if you have all your information ready to go. And I don't think other places are quite so streamlined. So it's just, you know, easy or better. What do you pick?
Yep, yep. And that's the thing is everybody has pros and cons, and like I really like the fact that Ingram Sparks allows for dust jackets. You don't have to take it up, but I heard that yours I think you just lifted. Didn't that one have a dust jacket?
Yeah, this is a
Yeah. So I think
and
that's
so
really
it
cool
was
about
it was perfect, except they folded it funny. So I think there was
that.
something up with the lines that we had. So the back flap is it's like 3/4 of an inch longer than the front
Mm.
one. So that's the biggest problem that we had with it. But everything else was really good.
Yeah, that's what I think I've heard most. Is like the how hard it is to figure out Ingram Sparks' cover design because it's hard to figure out and it's hard to get someone I guess on the phone to deal with that is what I've heard from other
Hmm.
people. Again, haven't tested it, so I don't know from firsthand experience, but I'm listening from everybody else, and it's kind of like I want so bad to like have those amazing like dust covers, but I feel like that's going to be a nightmare to figure out how to do.
It is frustrating, but my cover designer is just amazing. And I tell her I have a
Yep.
problem. And I tell her in like normal person lingo because I don't know how to speak cover design lingo. And then she takes what I told her and she translates it into the proper lingo and then she finds a way to fix the problem. And so far, there hasn't been a problem she couldn't fix. So I love her so much. Her name is Nicole Wells, by the way, and she has an Etsy shop called Pro Book Covers. So if you want a
Ooh,
book cover and you want it to be awesome, and she's not crazy expensive either.
that's
So
great.
she's amazing.
No, I love learning about. I never thought about Etsy. You said Etsy? I've never thought about
Yeah.
Etsy as a way to find a cover designer, and bad on me because you could get so many other things through Etsy. I just never thought to even look there. But yeah, your
Hmm.
cover's gorgeous, and I know
I
every
was
time I start.
driven to Etsy. I was driven there because I tried all of the popular book cover producers, got some mock-ups made. I didn't like any of them. None of them were my vision. And I was just bored and discouraged, and I was in the bath and I was scrolling Etsy. That's my book cover. It was perfect. Like I changed almost nothing about it. It was perfect. It was like it was made for my book.
Wow, that's so
Yeah.
cool.
I love
No,
telling that story because it was so random.
I'm sorry. I saw a comment I'm trying to see. Found author I plan on being an ARC reader for. Yay! We love ARC readers. Shout out for all ARC readers because you do amazing things for authors like us, and we always appreciate. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I think every time I start a new series, I want the series to look right for whatever I'm catering towards, whatever genres, subgenres, etc. But also
Hmm.
very distinct from the other things I write in the sense that I pick epic fantasy, but they're very different epic fantasy, so I want them to look different. So I always like the idea of getting maybe a different cover designer for a different project because it may just fit better. And so again, I like the idea. I'll have to go check her out. That's kind of cool.
Oh,
Thank you.
you
Thank you.
should. You will not be sorry. She has a cover, a pre-made out right now. It's so beautiful. I want it so bad. It doesn't fit my series at all, but I want it so bad.
You,
Someone needs to go buy it before I do.
I'm gonna see you become one of those authors who just like has a stack of pre-mades for whenever you get to those stories that you write. I have,
Oh, I
I
would. I would. If I had all the money in the world, I would buy all the covers.
yes, yes, and I've not purchased a pre-made cover before, because my stories are some of them can be very out there, and I really want them again to just work right. But there are definitely authors who can look at a picture and be like, I have a story for that. And I wish I was like that to an extent, but that's not me at this point. But I totally respect that, and there are some gorgeous ready-mades out there. So you'll be one of those collectors that just have your stack.
Maybe. If my books make enough money, I will just go buy all the covers.
Yeah,
I'm getting comments too.
yeah, feel free.
Ruthie says that it's literally so smart to look there. I'm assuming that's about Etsy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it was desperation that drove me there. I had almost given up finding the perfect cover and I was going to settle for something that wasn't at all what I wanted. And so, honestly, I think it was God. He was just like, I'm just going to put this right here and then wait for you to get desperate and it'll be there when you're ready.
Perfect. And the cover behind you, that's a first one of a new series, you said? Or is that a continuation of
Yeah.
one? Okay, that's what I thought, but I wanted to verify.
Yep. And then I can pull up a picture of the cover for the novella, Cassandra's Dragon, too, because I would love to show you
Yeah,
that.
because that's coming
I have it
out.
right here. And it will just be an ebook right
Ooh.
now. So I don't have a pretty physical copy. But as you can see, it kind of matches this one a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So same series, same genre.
One thing you could do, I bet, not that just depends on if you get into more lives or stuff like that, is print that out in a mirror image and put it in a frame on your bookshelf. So when you talk about it, kind of like my
That's so
backboard,
smart.
you can have your framed, because it's ebook, but just say, hey, this is what it looks like.
That is so smart. You are a genius. I totally need to
That
do
was for
that.
you. That's for you.
Thank you.
I have fallen in love with the inverting book covers because it makes it so much easier for like just talking about them be like that.
That is so smart, and it never occurred to me, but I definitely need to do that because it's so annoying inverting when I'm just shooting a video and inverting it, and I'm like going this way to make it back in the screen, but it's not going back in the screen. It's going this way, and like what? It's so annoying.
It is, but I had never thought about that until just now about doing that for my short stories that I give out for people who sign up for my newsletter. And I was just like, I should do that because they have covers too. That I just, I could throw the name out there, but I'm like, what does it look like?
Hmm.
So how long have you been kind of preparing for this new series? Because obviously that was a very big book.
Yeah. It's really hard to put a time of like a date of birth on this series because I think it's kind of always just been in me.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, one day I was just looking into the fire in the wood stove and thinking about fire and thinking about how fun fire is to play with, but at the same time you can go too far and you can burn everything down. And then I
All
was
those
like, that
fire
would make an
elemental
awesome
characters.
story. And then I started writing it. And I didn't even have a clear vision for where it was going to go at the time, which made editing a nightmare. But it turned into something amazing.
And that's something to say about editing. You can start with a very crude, very rough draft of something and end up having a book that's super fantastic and, equal worth of anybody who spent meticulous time sitting down and drafting out their first draft. So it just depends on your style of writing. And so
Hmm.
I'm kind of one of those in between. I plan enough, but allow enough freedom. But I've talked to people on both sides where they're just like, we just sat down and started something. And I'm like, well, that's cool. Thank you.
Hmm.
And then you have someone else who's just like, I planned out pretty much every sentence. I'm like, wow, that's called writing it.
Yeah, exactly. And what I do is I'll have a very rough outline and then I'll just write and then I'll have a few paragraphs below where I'm actively writing that will kind of lay out what the next few scenes will be. And as I go, I develop the scenes. That way it can build organically, but at the same time I can sit down having not maybe taken a few days off and still kind of look at that and say, "Oh yeah, I remember exactly what I need to write." Because the worst part for me was always if I took a day or two off, I would forget where my brain was going with it. And then I would sit down and I would just stare at the cursor blinking for a while and then I give up
Yeah.
at a time and I spend my whole time trying to remember where I was going with it. So I feel like I have to have something to help me keep my brain in the right place.
Yeah, I totally get that. And I don't know, I mean, with everybody has different schedules. So some people are able to sit down and write every day. Other people may have breaks because you have full-time jobs or families, or
Hmm.
you go on a vacation. Oh my goodness, and forget where you are. So, are you able to keep, do you write regularly, like on like a daily, weekly basis, or how often do you get to sit down and be able to create things?
So what I've figured out works for me is every single day I need to write a little bit, even if it's just a sentence, because that takes my brain back into the story so that the next time I get a big chunk of time to write, I am already there in my mind and I can just go.
Mhm.
So that's what I do. And I am a homeschool mom, and we run a ranch. And
Mhm.
so I run, uh, I'm involved in too many things. So there are a lot of days when I can just write one sentence, but it really works for me to keep my brain where it needs to be.
I like that. I like that. And I definitely know if the longer I'm away from whatever story I'm working on, it is so much harder to get back into it, and you lose a lot of time just trying to get back into the mindset of where you are, and maybe you're rereading a page or two or the chapter and it just that does eat into your time. So
Hmm.
doing it as frequently as possible always is beneficial. On the other hand, I will admit I do need to try to take a day or two off. So I do try to take, the weekend off from active writing, even though I'm always doing something on social media or something else trying to promote my books. But
Hmm.
but
Yep.
yeah, if I'm too far away for too long, that's when you start figuring things.
Yep. And it is good to take breaks, but I find that even my breaks are productive because
Mhm.
um, when my brain is relaxed, ideas come to me so much easier. Like I'll literally just be driving down the road and thinking about pizza, and then I'll have this awesome idea for a food that could be in my world that I wouldn't have thought of if I'd have been at the keyboard pressing my brain into the book. So breaks are important too.
Okay, here's another thing that just based on this is what I'm just throwing things out for you for because it doesn't really work with the books I'm writing right now, or does it? I'll have to think about that. But talking about food, maybe you should come up with like some simple recipe that you can give out with signed copies of your book. Ah,
I already have.
that's fantastic.
Yes.
I love that.
Yep.
Do you,
Yep. I have plans to send out I'm nervous to do this, but I am gonna approach a few influencers that I think would like my book and say, would you like a PR box? And then I'm gonna build a really fancy box and put some pretty things in it and a recipe, some tea, like little tea tins that have different characters' names on them so that each tea is
cute.
representative of a character. And I was gonna do candles, but then I decided that tea would be more fun and a little more unique. So I think I'm gonna do tea and just bookmarks and character art and all of that fun stuff. And then the book, of course, the book will be in there
Of course, of course.
too.
I love watching everybody's PR boxes. Some people get so creative. I keep trying to up my game, but I feel like I'm always behind on that function. But
Hmm.
I saw one recently, and I'm like, okay, this is too far advanced for me right now. But I thought it was really cute because it came with a little one of those little string lights that you have a button to turn on.
Uh-huh.
So you turn it on, and as soon as you opened it, it illuminated the box with all the goodies. Yeah.
Ooh, nope, that is way above my pay grade. Not gonna happen.
I saw that. I was like, that's pretty. I don't think I can afford that.
I mean, what are they gonna come up with next? That is
Who knows?
awesome.
Who knows? But it's always cool to see what people come up with, and like for instance, character art. I'm always trying. I'm curious, like where people find the artists to commission for the character art. I've found a couple through Instagram, but now I'm thinking I was like maybe Etsy actually has them. I don't know why.
Mhm.
I just had this like really separation of what Etsy is. And I was like, man, I should take advantage of that way more often.
Etsy has a lot of character art options, but just fair warning, most of them are AI generated. And then they're
Okay.
charging for them, which I feel like, I mean, okay, but I kind of want a real person, you
Yeah.
know, doing it. So, you have to be really, really careful,
Oh,
in my
that's true.
opinion. So, I actually found the artist doing my character art. There's a Facebook group, and I think it's called Artists to Authors, and it's supposed to kind
Hmm.
of just Yeah,
That one.
link everybody. And I found her there, and I love her art. It's amazing. I can
I
send you
have
the link too. I'm pretty sure it's artists to authors or something like that.
oh, Google, I mean, search around and poke around. That's cool. I like that. I like that idea. Because, yeah, that's what I like to do is the artists that I've commissioned before, I like to either see them actually demo some of their examples to prove that they're actually doing it because, if I'm paying for something that I'm hoping is actually created from scratch from them, that's kind of what I want.
Mhm.
That's
So
what I'm going for.
the girl doing my art sends me daily updates, and I'll see the stuff that she's doing and step by step. So that makes me feel really good.
Yes, I think that's really cool. And it's a nice way for them to like help promote themselves. Like mind of someone's art, in different stages.
Yeah.
That doesn't bug me. I mean, I when I'm not writing, I paint pets. So very different thing. Very, very, very different thing. But I totally respect the artist sides of things. And I had a question: are we looking for artists at the moment? Not actively, but it's something that if I stumble upon one and whenever my budget allows, I love to have like a rolling notes of potential artists that I can commission down the line when I have better funding. I, I'm doing a couple different author events this fall, and so time and money is tight right now. But yeah,
Yeah.
so what are you planning? Are you planning anything fun for your upcoming book release? I know. What else are you doing to promote your novella um,
Mhm.
announcement?
Yeah, yeah, I'd love to answer that. I want to answer a comment really quick, though, first, if you don't mind. My
Yeah.
friend Ruth said, I still low-key want to read that first draft you sent me to see how different it is from the final. Just to warn you, Ruth, oh my goodness, it's like a completely different book. I mean, same characters, same romance tropes, different book. Just to warn you, but totally, if you want to read the first draft. Ruth was somebody that I gave a first draft to kind of get their impression, but then she got too busy, life happened, and she wasn't able to read it. So you can totally read it if you want to. Completely different story. So hey, maybe you'll enjoy both of them, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, and that is kind of cool to see like a progression because I know early on stage readers, kind of like alpha readers, see something very different from the beta reader stage, see something very different from the arc reader stage because it does transform, and some books transform completely from start to finish. So that would be kind of interesting to like read at different
Yeah,
stages. And thank you
yeah.
for forwarding to. I love meeting new authors and artists. So share away. Just
Okay.
yes,
So
and
you asked me what I'm doing
yeah,
to promote my ebook or the novella and everything. I'm mostly just hanging out on social media a lot
yeah.
and posting a lot. And I had my first viral post on Instagram just
Ooh,
last week. It was very, very exciting. I've never had that happen before. And it's
cool.
still kind of going. It's still got some steam. So, and it was for my novella. So now my newsletter is exploding with signups, which is awesome.
That's
So it's
fantastic.
just been a really exciting couple of weeks.
That's so cool. Yeah, no, I've never successfully got a true viral on any platform. I've had some do pretty decent, but it's like a rare thing. And I know there's algorithms and stuff like that, so I'll just live vicariously through you awesome people. But I have noticed that at least for marketing on Instagram, resharing like reels from here seems to draw a lot of attention, so that's kind of nice.
Hmm.
I've never
Yep.
figured out how to do beauty shots of books. That is not my forte. I am not a photographer.
Mm. My shots aren't super, super awesome. They're pretty simple. I mostly go outside and find a pretty flower and put my book next to it and then take a picture of it.
Hey, that may be all you need. I don't know. I get it in my head that you need like the perfect like cappuccino next to your book, the cozy rug, and I'm like, but this has nothing to do with the fantasy that I'm writing. 'Cause my
Hmm.
fantasy, uh, it's all wild, uh, full fantasy. It's not very cozy.
I use my swords as props because swords are very fantasy-esque, so
That's
that
true.
works really well.
I actually have yet to. I haven't done it lately, but probably because I currently live in a small apartment and there's not a lot of space to physically set up a sword next to a wolfhound next to my ring. Right? Successfully, that doesn't work out one or the other. So I haven't done that lately, but maybe I should try to like keep the dog in the other room for safety reasons and try to do a photo shoot. But yeah, no, I love that's one of the things. It's like every fantasy author should be as soon as you publish, you should get I don't know who funds this, but get a gifted quill pen just for display and a sword. I feel like should be part of the package. Welcome to the
Oh
fantasy
yeah,
author world.
absolutely. Every fantasy author deserves a sword.
Of course.
Yes.
It's great for and it helps you like work with footwork and is this really something that can function in the story? Does this make
Oh,
sense?
very true, very true. I have learned some things about swords. Like, don't accidentally hit your leg when you're twirling a sword.
Yep, yep. Hopefully yours is blunted, or else that would have
Mine
been
is blunted. But
okay.
even so, it was like, oh, this is a sword.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That can happen. That can happen. Now, actually, just curious because I haven't done lately a book signing, a physical book signing. But I can see, like, depending on where you do it, that you could have a cool little setup with, you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you plan? Do you do live book signings a lot, or at
I
all, or have
I'm
you done?
setting up some
Ooh.
for my book release. So I'll be doing it in some local libraries, and then I'm gonna contact the Barnes and Noble. I'm really scared to do that, but I'm gonna do it anyway and see if they'll let me do one there. And so I've been buying some stuff, like some little things to display my books on, and like a black tablecloth to cover up a table,
Mm-hmm.
and I bought a poster, but I'm kind of nervous to see how it's going to turn out. But just kind of trying to get my foot in the door and have some pretty things so that I can do that. And yeah.
That's so cool. I probably am gonna hold off until maybe next year to try to plan any signings, but physical signings. But I really want to figure out this TikTok shop thing so I can do
Oh
virtual
yeah.
signings,
Hmm.
especially and just be able to engage kind of like this and do some signings that way, especially for people who can't attend wherever you live because
Hmm.
it's hard to travel.
Yeah, and I live very rural, so it's not going to be very lucrative for me to do local book signings. It's mostly just for the people who know me and who want to see the book and everything. So yeah,
Yeah, and
lost my
I
train of
know
thought.
one of the things that I worked on developing this past year was a book plate. So, that can sign and send out if anybody buys my book at any other location and they're like, I kind of want it signed. I'll be like, well, here's a book plate, that kind of thing. So,
Oh,
so
yeah,
that's
that's a good
something that,
idea.
yeah, just fun
I
ways to
definitely I definitely want to figure out the TikTok shop thing, but um somebody told me that if an order isn't fulfilled within 3 days of it being made, then TikTok cancels it, and that made me nervous because my life is really
engage.
busy and I can't guarantee I'm going to get it done that fast. So that made me really nervous. So,
I wonder if you can like pause it for certain days. I don't know. Again, I haven't looked into this yet on my side. I'm actually going to meet another a few TikTok authors, book talk authors for a live event, and one of them loves his shop. So I'm going to be like picking his brain and be like, "Can you tell me how this works?" I just want to wrap my head
yes.
around it and see if I can do it because when I've sent out signed copies before, mailed them out, I usually do a 3 to 5 business day window because, again, I like weekends off. Days
Hmm.
impossible. I'm a real person too. I want a day off, but yeah, it also gives you that buffer as well. But I don't know. I will have to look into that.
Hmm.
And I have a question that popped up. Whoops, sorry, tapped the wrong thing. Okay, it said, "Have y'all considered digital collectibles as a virtual way to reward your readers and supporters?" Digital, so like digital art, or what do you like? E- Explain that further. So my answer is no. I have not considered digital collectibles, but explain what you mean.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what that is either. I'm going to be sending out digital bookmarks that people can print off for themselves.
Ooh.
So that's a thing I'll be doing, but I don't know if I'd call that a collectible, so I'm not sure exactly what that means.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'll have to look into that as well. But one thing is like, I don't know. I feel like the people who enjoy fantasy cross over in various means in the sense like if you're a reader, there's a good chance you also like watching fantasy. There may be a good chance that you like playing fantasy games and stuff like that. So for my Portal Fantasy series, I started getting into tabletop role playing character
Ah,
that hand painted custom made characters of my characters. Um but someone else told me, I was like, you can do the virtual one of those too and send them out. I was like, maybe I should do little virtual tokens of characters.
hmm.
And yes, okay, so NFTs, art, signatures, um, digital copies of your books, bookmarks. Okay, so anything
Hmm.
that's digital stuff. Yeah, so no, I have not considered that at this moment outside of, and the issue for me up until recently, and it won't be an issue much longer, is that I had been in the Kindle Unlimited program. And for anybody who doesn't understand, when you're in Kindle Unlimited, you have an exclusivity contract with Amazon. And as long as my ebooks were in there, I couldn't distribute them outside of that platform. So I couldn't actually give away all, digital copies just for the fun of it. I could give them to like ARC readers beforehand. There was like, so much, but I had to be very careful about how to distribute Kindle ebooks because I had the exclusivity contract going. But now, since I'm pulling out of that program, I will be able to um, send stuff and not feel the pressure of breaking a contract. And it opens up options.
I would love it if you would talk a little bit about your thought process in pulling out of KU because I guess I've been trying to figure out what the best thing for me to do is because I do get a lot of people asking if it'll be in KU because that's where they read. And so I want to put it there for them. But
Yes.
at the same time, so many authors are pulling out of it. And so that makes me nervous.
Mine was, well, several reasons. And originally, I was going to just test one of my series because I had one full complete series. And my original idea was, as the other ones were still being published, I would keep them in KU until they were complete before giving a buffer and then doing that. Because I wanted people the option to read them all, but it got to the point that because the payout, I see a comment there, the payout has been dropping
Mm.
and it's becoming unaffordable for me to stay in with them. That I pulled them all out at the moment. I can always go back in. There is that. But I'm pulling them all out. I do want to test them to see how they go on the wider scale, see how that benefits me. It gives me a lot of options that I was limited to in the sense of how I want to distribute the copies. And I'm not going to be threatened if my books are pirated, that I'm not going to get in trouble through Amazon because I don't have that exclusivity contract. So I'm not threatened that way. So there was a couple things I've been doing, but yeah, it was the price dropping again, and it was just became to the point where I did the calculations, and it really wasn't affordable for me to stay in. It actually was much better if people just buy it outright. I do know that means I'm going to be losing readers that are just exclusively KU readers because they do exist. I actually had someone reach out to me on one of my platforms and was just like, "Oh no, I'm never going to be able to finish your stories because that's all I read." And I told that one person, I was like, "Guess what? You can sign up to be an ARC reader and you can finish
Uh,
it that way because I can send you them, and be an ARC
mhm.
reader. I can't do that for everybody, but yeah, for the few who really, were really into my series and everything. If, like I said, if they reached out to me, I would just say, yeah, sign up to be an ARC reader for me, and you can still finish that series, enjoy the story, because I can distribute them that way. But
That's a
and
really good idea.
yeah, so it'll be a test. So I could realize in a few months that this was a horrible thing and put everything back in Kindle Unlimited. But yeah, it's going to take me a little time to make sure everything has pulled out, and then it also gives me a buffer time to try to figure out how to distribute them wide if I want to do Ingram Sparks, Draft to Digital, which disperses them, and go from there and just see if it does help. Because unfortunately, the way KU's been paying authors, it's not great.
Hmm.
But you reach a
With
lot of people.
with social media being as helpful as it is for authors, I'm starting to wonder how badly do we need these people, or these companies that to distribute our books?
Hmm.
We could distribute our own books. You know, we're already doing all the marketing, so it's not like those companies are helping us with that. So I'm starting to wonder what's going to happen in like 10 years with these companies. Are they going to be able to keep profiting off of authors, or are authors going to take things into their own hands?
Um, I mean, as an indie author, I could see a lot of indies trying to take it into their own hands. For the people who go trad, one of the reasons why they like doing it is because they don't have to do all the marketing. They still have to do a lot, but not all of them. And they're not having to deal with the setup of the distribution and monitoring all that. And nor why would they want to? So, some of the biggest names and the ones who pull in the most money, in general, are probably going to stay the way it
Hmm.
is
That
unless
is
something
true.
really changes. So will indies affect the as a whole? I don't know. But it's nice to be indie because you do have choices. You just have to figure out,
Hmm.
and you can try something and then change a little bit later and try something else. And that's what I'm just going to be doing with dabbling with taking my books wide and seeing. Hopefully, it's a good thing. If not, I will change things up. And
Well, I hope you'll let me know how it goes for you as
yeah,
I'm making all these very important decisions for my own books. I would love to know how it goes. And
yeah, and it's another thing that just popped in my head. I have not. I see a comment about Patreon. I was looking into it at the beginning of the year. Haven't gone into it because my goals were dabble with Kickstarter for the first time and try to start a actual direct shop on my website. And the Kickstarter thing is interesting because as a Kickstarter, I can't distribute any ebooks through that if they're tied into KU. So as soon as they publish, that's that exclusivity thing. So that made it hard. But now that away from that, that would allow me to offer ebooks as part of my Kickstarter campaigns going forward, which Kickstarters did seem to be beneficial for me, and it's beneficial off to utilize that as a launch pad.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I just saw a whole slew of. Sorry. I'm like reading all these this chatter. I apologize.
You're good.
I see someone saying Drafty Digital is so good,
Hmm.
super user friendly. Plus, Dan Wood, the owner, is a huge champion for indies. That's good to know because I'm curious to
Interesting.
look more into that one. Patreon and direct sales could be good if you decide to go wide. I suggest checking out Social Connector. They integrate rewarding your supporters and IP ownership. I have not heard of that one.
Hmm, me neither.
All right, new stuff. I like that. Thank you. Always love new suggestions. I I always say, or I try to always say that challenge yourself forever to continue to learn. Whatever it is you're doing, never consider yourself a true master because things are always changing, and always challenge yourself to learn new things and be open-minded to new tech. Though I say this, and I have yet to jump on the bandwagon of the last 4 or 5 social media things because there's so many, too many. I can't keep
Hmm.
up.
You
I
gotta
can't
pick
keep
a few that work for you, and then
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So while we hit the 3/4 of the hour mark, let me ask for people who've been jumping on and don't know, where can people find you, your book? Where can people find your newsletter, especially since you have that new novella dropping on Wednesday through it as a
Mhm.
freebie? So where can people find your links?
Yeah, so my novella Cassandra's Dragon is dropping next Tuesday,
Oh,
and
Tuesday,
you
sorry.
can, yeah, yeah, it's okay, no problem. And my links are all in my bios. So I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, um, and then you can sign up for my newsletter in the link in my bio. You can sign up to be for this book if you would like. Um, and then you would get a free copy in exchange for an honest review. Or you can just sign up for my newsletter and get the awesome little novella. and enjoy that, and then hang out. And my newsletter goes out once every couple weeks, and I just talk about my writer process and how things are going. And I'm always dropping. I know that I should not do this so much, but I'm terrible at keeping things a secret. So I'm always dropping like snippets and sneak peeks, and just I'm always I can't help it. I'm just always dropping
It's
things
hard to
like
keep a
that.
secret.
So if you want to see those things, my newsletter's a great place for that. And then I also have a street team sign up. So if you
Yeah.
really, really, really like my books and my work and you want to help me promote it, you can sign up for my street team and you can help me out by basically just hitting that share button every time that I post something.
Yes,
Yeah.
we love the shares. We love the shares. Because there are so many ways to like support an author if you don't have a lot of money. There are. It could be again anything from okay, well, if you have some time and you like their writing, offer to be an ARC reader, share and talk about the books. I mean, it doesn't have to
Yeah.
be crazy expensive to support each other.
Exactly.
And
If
that's
you
why I think
talk
the
about books on social media,
exactly.
that is worth everything because one person talking about a book, it's better even than I personally think if someone talking on social media about a book is even better than an Amazon review because for someone to see an Amazon review, they have to go find your book on Amazon, scroll down and read through the reviews. But on social media, you're just talking to your friends. So that
Hmm.
is and that is completely free. And it means everything to me when people talk about my books.
Yeah. I love it. Yes. Anytime I get one of those tags, it's like someone commented or else it's like, oh, what did you think?
Does your heart give a
Always
little
good. I hope
palpitation?
you like it. But yes, and I did see the comment I'll point out. It says you can always run the Kickstarter and have your direct sales presence, and then at some point later, like a month or two, you could then move it to KU. That is true. There's a little more complicated aspects about it, but yes, you're not the first one to mention something like that. It's just then it goes back to the question of the exclusivity contract and the issue of the risk of piracy and what it means to KU authors. There's a lot there, and if policy changed and or the payout changed a little bit, I'd be more inclined to jump back. But trying new things, like I said, trying new things. Okay, just
And
making
so,
sure.
so if your book is in KU and then they detect piracy, does that eliminate all of your copies
It
or
can.
just the KU? Oh, okay.
Well,
Okay.
no, yeah, well, what it means is if they detect piracy, it's Amazon's right by their contract to either flag, depending on how they do it, they've done it all different ways, and that's the scary part. There's not necessarily a rhyme or reason if they're going to do the end all be all or the warning, but sometimes you may get a warning. Other times they may freeze or take down that one book they flagged, or they could take everything out and shut you down immediately.
Yikes. That is terrifying.
And
I'm
it's
not gonna
hard to
lie.
write because you're trying to explain that we didn't put it up on that site. We did not
Yeah,
get permission. That was not us.
I
But
don't know too many authors who pirate their own books.
yeah, just saying, throwing that out there. I don't know where you think this is going, but it's just yeah, it's a sad system right now. And like I said, if it changed going forward, I would be more inclined to go back and support it again because originally it was my bread and butter. I lived off those KU reads, so that's why it's very nerve wracking. These next few months, biting my nails proverbially. I mean, like,
Mm.
please work. Please let this not be a bad thing. But and again, you can always go back in. They're not, once you take it down, that doesn't mean you're out forever. You can always put it back in. It just means wherever you put it up, you have to take it down
Right.
first, which
Yep.
is just a hassle. But yeah, definitely. But it's a tough situation. If only it was better. Anywho, on to other more positive topics. But yeah, okay. Because you talked about it a little bit in the beginning. So, what is your new series going to be about? The one that's debuting in October.
Um, so that's the same one that I've been working on.
Okay.
So, yeah, and so the novella is attached to that one. But this series is a young adult fantasy novel with Christian themes about a girl who hears the whisper of fire, and she just kind of plays with it, and then one day it goes too far and she loses everything, and she blames herself, and so she goes through a dark period, but then she finds out it's not normal for people to hear the whisper of fire. And so
Ah,
then she has an adventure, and so you've got the secret princess trope, and you've got the enemies to lovers trope, and um yeah, you've got all of those things in there.
that's so much fun.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Do you will or have you considered? I don't know how. Are there going to be other people who are going to be able to hear whispers of potential other elements, or is it just fire exclusive? Okay, I don't know. I didn't know if this was a
Yes.
spoiler, so I was just like, it's hard to like ask a question because I don't want to make you feel pressured to like give a spoiler. Yeah.
Good. And I love spoilers. I'm always giving spoilers, so yes.
See, that's so funny because I'm like the opposite. I'm like super tight-lipped because I hate hearing spoilers, and so I presume most people don't want to hear spoilers. So
Mm,
I'm very tight-lipped, but it makes it very hard to pitch a story because it's like,
hmm
to what extent can I tell you, especially if the story gets very complicated, without spoiling anything?
hmm And somebody gave me some really, really good advice when I was first starting out on social media about that, because I was like, I don't want to give away any of the super special secret stuff about my books. So how can I talk about my books? And they said, people aren't going to buy your book if they don't know anything about your
That's
book.
true.
Choose some things that you're okay with them knowing, and the more the better was their advice. Because the more somebody knows about a book, the more they'll know if they're going to like the book. So just
Yeah.
her advice was just let it all out. So I let 50% of it out.
I guess for me, I had to like treat it more like a movie poster, not movie trailer, where it's like you want to do enough where it captures their attention. They know what's going on. They get the taste of the characters, but you're not giving away the ending.
Don't give away the ending. That's
Don't
good
give away the
advice.
ending. You want them to read the book. Let me see. I have a comment saying pitching a book should follow the same rules. A blurb writing, yeah, well, that's very true. And again, that's the whole thing. Is like blurb writing is a trick into itself for some people, and it's one thing that I do want to get better on because I like my blurbs, but I feel like someone else who's better at just that style of writing, because it is its own kind of style of writing,
hmm
help out.
hmm Yeah, writing my blurb was torture. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I can write an entire book, 500 pages, but I can't write a blurb about the book. It was terrible.
Hard. And it's things is I know I can pitch my books now because I've practiced enough, but like whenever I guess one of the things that I've been considering is as I get ready, finish up my next series and start a new project, I really want to approach writing that new project of right off the bat is how do I want to angle the blurb from the get go and not wait till I'm
Mm,
done because that can be hard.
yeah, that's a good thought. It could be like your mini outline or something.
Kind of. Okay, okay, that's worded so that was just a simple way to just approach it. Okay, I like that. Yeah, I like your outline. And yes, I see another comment saying, answer the 4 questions. Who is your main character? What does your main character want? Their goals. What is
Mm,
preventing your main character from getting what they want? The conflict. And what happens if they fail? The stakes.
mm,
Dun, dun,
yep,
dun.
yep. It's very good.
And I have a question coming in saying, gotta ask about using Chat GPT for doing blurbs. Have you dabbled with it? Or are you avoiding it? Or you have strong feels? Do you care?
I have not dabbled with it because it feels like a me versus them sort of situation right now. So I have not, and I may eventually because it seems like it's gonna take over by storm and just become a part of life. I mean, it's in everything now. You
Yeah.
know, like I have some of my documents up on Google Docs, and AI is there now.
Mm-hmm.
So, offering
Oh,
to
yeah.
do things for me and write things for me, and it's like, no, thank you. That's my job.
Yeah, for me, I have not utilized, well, obviously I use Word, and I think they said somewhere in the Word, in, terms of service or whatever, they also use AI. So to what extent are they looking at my stuff? Who knows? But I've not used ChatGPT. I actually am. I'm attending a big authors conference, the 20 books to 50K one in November, one of my work trips now. And some of the things I'm going to be sitting in is AI and authors and the what and the why and where everything's trending, is it okay, et cetera, so on. So I want to learn more about it before I totally judge it off. I don't really want AI to write the book by any means, but the concept of helping things like blurb, which is a very tight, succinct style of writing, it might be beneficial. But I'm waiting to make past judgment. So that's
That is very smart, very wise of you. Don't be emotional about it like me.
well, I mean, it's unnerving. It's a little scary at times, and but it is something that, like you mentioned, I mean, AI is here. You're not going to escape it. It's here.
Yeah.
It's what rules will be established, what laws will be established going forward to protect people and figure out where we're comfortable utilizing that tech. But I'll be
Hmm.
sitting in, I think, 2 or 3 seminars about that. Just sorry, it's always around an hour when I start losing my voice. But that's one of the things that I'm curious about, just because.
Well, please, please, please share everything you learn because I am hungry for all this information and I can't go to the conference. So please
It's
share.
okay. I understand. I was waiting for the past couple of years, and I was like, I'm going to do it this year. Again, feeling a lot more confident of my yearly projections at the beginning of the year before what's been happening with like KU and all that stuff. So it's a little nerve wracking right now. But I have dedicated myself, so I will be there. I know that there are some authors. Sorry, this is comment. I know that there are some authors playing around with 11 for AI audio narration. I don't know that one.
Hmm.
I'm a person who's just like AI narration for audiobooks. I've heard, it is getting more lifelike, but I do agree with, I can't think of his name, the author for Legends and Lattes. He has a good
Oh,
point of,
mhm.
like, at this moment, there's something about a human inflection and being able to change and understand certain context clues where AI is still lacking. And so there is something to say there is a more richness if you're hiring a real person and you're hiring a real person. You're helping them do what they love, just like they're helping you do what you love. So I'm also about that. Thank you. Yeah, Travis Waldry. And I watched his TikTok video about that very topic.
Mhm.
But he has feels about that topic. So, oh, that's cool. Okay, that's very cool. Love it, love it. Okay, so we're rounding the end of the hour, but I do want to make sure, is there anything that you wanted to talk about, topic-wise, that we have yet to cover, or is there, any announcements outside of what you've already made that you wanted to make, or any questions you had that you hadn't asked as of yet? Because,
I think we covered it pretty well. Just my books are coming, getting ready
yay!
for them,
Yes.
and I'm really excited. I've got my goal was to get 200 ARC readers signed up,
Mhm.
and I have 450 and counting.
Woo!
Yeah. And I'm like,
Wow!
should I draw the line? Nah, let people have a free book. So if
Yeah.
they want it, let them have it. I am wondering, I'm curious though, does it affect, so like if I were to put my books into KU and you know, an ARC copy were floating around out there up on a pirating website, would that immediately kick me off of KU?
Well, it means yes, your books would be at risk of being hacked, but it just depends if Amazon flags it.
Okay.
And
So it's not
and
a
if you see your
guaranteed
own
death
pirating,
sentence.
sorry, what?
It's not a guaranteed kickoff then.
No, no,
It's
no.
just
Because I
okay.
mean, Amazon has to find out it is pirated, and I don't know what triggers it or how they search or whatever because it's very sporadic. I mean, I've had some of my books pirated for a long time, and every time go through the routes, try to take them down, they pop back up again. It just whatever. But that's one of those low panics of I know my books are pirated. I see them on these sites, and I can do whatever I can do for them to disappear for a week or two, and then they're back up there. And so I know I've always been then those books have been at risk, which means my account has been at risk. But that's not a guarantee that they are going to flag you. It's just
Okay.
something to be aware of.
Hmm.
And maybe not bring it to their attention.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
But yeah, and I saw a couple comments saying, "Good luck on your launch."
Thank you.
That is so
I'm
exciting.
very
That's great.
excited.
Great ARC signups. That's fantastic. Yeah, I want to get better about ARC signups, and but always learning how to do it better.
Hmm. Well, we'll see how it goes. It's my first shot, so we'll see how it goes.
That sounds fantastic, though. That's so cool. I'm so excited for you. It's gonna be
Thank
fun.
you.
It's gonna be
I'm
a fun
excited for
end
me
of the
too.
year. And
Yeah.
here's something that literally popped in my head as we were talking. Saw that launch content comment, and this is a cool visual. I couldn't do it. I can't pop a balloon to save my life. It weirds me out. I don't know. That's one of my weirdisms. I can't pop a balloon. But what if you printed all these mini little covers, put them in like confetti, and pop the balloon, and it like sprinkles down? Sorry, I have
I love
weird
that.
ideas.
No,
Weird ideas.
that's awesome. I love it. I love it. You probably have to do helium though. In the balloon first, then pump it up
I could just
somehow.
see like holding a balloon, and it doesn't have to be floating, but I can't
Oh,
pop
sure.
it.
Well, I could pop a balloon. That would be really fun.
There you go. So that could be like a little video of you celebrate.
That's a good idea. You have so many good ideas.
Yeah. I don't know. My head goes like 1,000 miles a minute, and who knows? Who knows? They're fun. Anywho, but thank you for coming out and chatting with me today. And in the future, as we have in the past, anytime you want to do another one of these, I love talking.
Yeah, and I
Clearly,
love
maybe
doing
too much.
these. And I don't like going live by myself. I like going live with somebody else. So,
Yeah. No, no, it's always more comfortable to know you have someone to talk with and who could fill like any lulls
mhm.
because I've gotten far more comfortable doing solos and I will do solos sporadically, but there are days where I'm having to talk the whole time. And then there are days kind of like this where there's a lot of chatter. And thank you all for chiming in because we love chatter. And glad you like the balloon idea. You can use it too. Just make sure you tag me because I just want to see this happen. But yeah, no, it is far more comfortable when you have someone to talk to and you're not staring at your face and being like, books. So books.
Yeah, books.
But yeah, so anywho, I will let you go and
Okay.
do whatever it is fantastic you need to do to gear up for your upcoming projects. And I know for me, I have to continue working on editing because I need to get some projects geared up and ready to go. Oof. Yeah,
Cool.
and obviously I see
Well,
a comment saying I will do it if it's your cover art. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, okay. Figure it out. Maybe that's what I'll do. Is send a bunch of people these pre-stuffed balloons for them to pop.
that's awesome.
Maybe I'll do that because I can't pop a balloon. I know it's weird. Anywho, okay, everyone, have a fantastic rest of your day, and I have to get back to writing. And thank you so much for coming out and chatting with me this afternoon. I love
Yes,
talking with
thank you
you.
so much for having me.
And your book covers are gorgeous.
Thank you.
Okay, bye, everyone.
Bye.